Hey, welcome to Hashtag Minnavuzichwanuka. This is a place where we help you unravel social constructs, discuss self-development in line with mental health, emotional well-being, and everything in between that directly or indirectly affects us in the millennial world around us. If you're hearing my voice for the first time and are the kind of person who is not scared of being a better version of yourself, even if it requires you to contradict who you were 24 hours ago, consider this your virtual home. I am your host, Navgozi Chwanuka, a lawyer, founder, team lead of Equat Foundation, an addict and lover of insightful conversations, and a professional unraveler of social constructs. Announcement. News. Yes, that's what we used to do in nursery school. I created some podcast merchandise for you to buy, and the proceeds from the sales make it easier for me to keep bringing you the conversation society is silent about. The sunglasses are sold out. I am sorry. But I hope in the near future, maybe we'll bring some more sunglasses. They are sold out, but right now what we have on sale are magic mugs going for Uganda shillings 35,000 and vacuum flasks at 45,000. They're in two colors, blue and navy blue and black. Check out for the payment link in the show notes, or you can also check out our social media channels to be sure of what you're purchasing. For you to access the show notes or the link in the show notes, it depends on what podcast platform you're using to listen in. So if you're not able to see the payment link and you can't tap it, do check out social media handles. The links are there. The payment links are shared. This week's guest is Olivia Mugabe. She is the proprietor of Roza City Resort. Mugabe sits at the intersection of various descriptives, and one of them is that she is one of 2021's Member of Parliament Aspirants. Friend, this woman. In the episode, among other things, Olivia emphasizes how valuable parent-child relationships are. And while we went on about this, she shared her journey on raising a child who is handicapped with cerebral palsy, society's views on cerebral palsy, and the need for us to create spaces in which all kinds of children can thrive form part of this episode. Mugabe is a channel of positivity, and I cannot wait for you to tap into it. So let's dive into it. Olivia Mugabe, welcome to Hashtag Minnavuzichwanuka.
Oh, thank you.
The beauty that you are.
Oh.
The beauty that you are. Gracing the podcast. Hey, too bad they can't see you.
I'm so humbled. Thank you for the invite.
Help us understand who Olivia is.
Oh, Olivia is a person of all seasons.
Person of all seasons.
Yeah.
Take us through these seasons. Let us experience these seasons.
Olivia is a mother. That I take pride in. That's my first job. That I look up to every morning.
Oh yeah, every morning, man.
Every
Those
morning.
kids don't go. There's no break. I understand that part.
I'm a mother of two very amazing children. A boy, 11 years old.
11.
Yeah, 11, and a little girl, very beautiful princess of 3 years old. Olivia is a wife. I like that.
It is also a daily job, man.
Yeah, that is.
I feel like I'll ask for leave one time.
I think it's necessary.
It is. But people don't know that it is.
Yeah, it's good to get...
Like 1 week.
No, 1 week is too long. 3 days. Yeah, well, Olivia is a businesswoman. I deal in fast-moving consumer goods.
Fast-moving consumer goods.
Yeah, that's soft drinks, then essential soap, sugar, that's in Kampala, and somewhere in Rengo district. Yes. I am also the proprietor of, that's my new baby. Yeah, it's called Roza Resort in Masaka. Very beautiful gardens, spacious. One day when you decided to get married.
It is only for married people.
For you.
Okay, let me hear that.
I'm giving an offer. Yeah, venue. As long as you travel to Masaka, it's not in Kampala.
So is that a destination
wedding? Only destination wedding, yeah. Out of the ordinary. It doesn't have to be out of Uganda.
So on my budget, the venue is ticked.
Please. Yeah. So basically, that's Olivia, and I'm a lover of philanthropy. I love to give out because I believe where we are in life, even if you had everything while growing up, somehow, somewhere, someone assisted in your journey. Yeah.
Yes.
Someone. They may be seen or unseen, but I love to give out. I love to put a smile on someone's face.
Yeah.
And Olivia does not get angry. You will ask how.
How is that possible?
And why? But I try really.
How is that possible?
I try so hard not to get angry. I forego. I try to focus on the positives all the time. So I think I can only get angry once a year.
Oh yeah.
Does that sound abnormal?
Yeah. No, it doesn't. I had a period when I was angry a lot, but now I have moments when I have to look for like. But then I know recently, like yesterday, I had a moment. I was so angry. I was so angry. I take long. I usually see something and I excuse myself quickly. I'm like, I'm walking away from this. I don't want it to disturb my head.
Once you do that, and I think over time I've grown up to forget, to not focus on what does not matter. Really, I love to be happy. That is Olivia. I just love to be happy. I love to be happy and see people happy. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yes.
So seeing people makes you happy.
Definitely, it does.
Have you always been a happy child?
Oh, always. Back in school, I used to be that very happy and assertive and talkative and spokesperson, I may say. Yeah, in my happy mode.
What did Olivia of 6 years look like?
6 years old?
6 years old.
Oh.
Maybe we can look at the pre-teen age, 6 to 12. What was
12.
that Olivia like? What was in her mind?
Physically, Olivia was a very small and petite little girl with very long hair. Oh, I missed that stage. Her mind was full of so many things. I looked at myself being a teacher.
Whoa.
As a grown-up. Yeah. I always like to take the lead.
And teaching
everything.
was it?
Yes. I just liked the control. I just liked the confidence that some of my teachers carried themselves with. So I wanted to be that person, stand in front of that class of say 50, 60 pupils, and everyone would just keep quiet. That is what I wanted.
Whoa.
Yes.
Not that you wanted to teach.
That was part of the package, but the inspiration, honestly, I really wanted to be listened to. I wanted to walk into a room and everyone keeps quiet to listen to what I have to say. Yeah, and I did not mention I'm also a politician in the making.
Friends.
Yeah.
I saw that post, I was like, I know her. I know her.
Oh yeah.
Like every time I see the post, because there was a time when we were coming from Mbarara.
Yeah.
I saw the post and I told the person driving, I know her.
She's a friend. See, you have a friend who. Yeah, so I took part in the 2021 elections. I contested for Member of Parliament.
What inspired you?
I was one woman out of 5 men. Yes.
In that constituency.
In that constituency, and I came as number 2. Yes, inspiration. Actually, everyone got surprised on knowing that Olivia is contesting, given that I have a very soft side of me. Actually, my soft side dominates everything else. Yeah. I'm very assertive. I stick to what I like, but then politics is known for ruggedness, fighting,
so much,
like so much. But my inspiration came from the people that had been leading us earlier. In 2016, when I went back home in Rengo to cast my vote, I looked at the people on the ballot paper. I'm like, no, I think we can do better. Yeah, I think we can do better. Yeah. So I told everyone, I'm into this. I'm going to give it a shot. And I was like, no, you will not manage. You will not manage. But I thank God. I went for it, and I'll still go back.
We're waiting.
Yeah, I'll go back. It was entering a political race, going down into the villages to look for votes, to campaign. That is a lesson that can never be taught in any classroom.
That's what I was going to ask you. Did you do so much research?
You have to.
Yeah.
You have to, because for any political campaign, I believe so. I don't know about others. There are demographics that you need to look at. So I first did the research, and I felt, this is okay. This is right for me. But there are things you cannot know until you are there. There are so many personalities.
Tell us about what shocked you the most.
A lot. People change every day. Yeah. Right now I'm looking into your face and you're saying yes to me. In a blink of an eye, the story is different.
Then they've not changed. They lied.
Oh well.
They lied.
They show something else.
And we have so much of that.
So much. And the funny, or not funny, but absurd, you look at respectable people in society, decision makers. You know, like I think every village or every area has an opinion maker.
Right.
Yeah. So you meet that person, you say this and that, and everything is okay right in your face. But the moment you turn your back, that was a bit shocking at the start. But by the end, really,
you got used to it. No, for me, I don't know when I'll get used to it. It's still shocking. I'm like,
how?
Just tell the truth.
You know, just tell the truth.
On.
Yeah. So
we're different.
Then also, one thing that I learned during my campaign, and it has really impacted me, and I think it will carry on until the end of time. I feel like we do not thank God enough.
Oh yeah?
Yeah, sometimes I feel like the things we take for granted, because people out there are suffering. Yeah, people out there are going through a lot.
Things you can't imagine.
Things you cannot imagine. There's an old woman who we gifted with a mattress. Just a mattress. You've had a mattress all your life. You'd never ever imagine that an 80-year-old had never.
Whoa.
Yeah, had never. So
never. 80 years of their life.
80 years of their lives.
Not that they lost it or something.
Not that they lost it, not that it got burnt somewhere in their house.
And where was she sleeping?
You know, grass. They pile grass and different weeds in a sack.
Oh yes, yeah.
Yeah. Then they get different pieces of cloth. Then maybe an old gomasi. They use that as a bed sheet. So the small things that we take for granted.
Old gomasi as the bed sheet.
As a bed sheet.
So this person has not also used bed sheets.
Exactly. So there's a woman, not one or two or three. There's so many things that I feel like we should thank God a little more for what we have.
That's right.
Then also not get comfortable. You know, because you don't want to look at someone who does not have a mattress and say, I made it in life because I have a mattress. You need to go out there, work harder, and also treat yourself, treat other people well. Treat other people well, because what goes around definitely comes around.
You just never know what you're going to
just never
lack.
Know. Yeah. So I came out of the campaign a very changed person, grown and learned. Things that you learn down there, not even Cambridge. Yeah, not even Harvard will. Yeah. So
you getting into politics, is it something that could also have come from the bit of you wanting to have control, people listening to you?
Spot on. Not having control per se, but then I like to take the lead in everything, and it so happens in my.
I've seen you. I mean, all this while I kept telling people she was my prefect.
Oh.
She was my prefect, and then this is when you come. You're like, no, I wasn't. I was like, how you were? You know,
I wasn't, but. For some reason, prefects used to consult me in school. What do we do, Olivia? Like I told you earlier, I contested for that position, head montress. And my classmates were like, no, Olivia, we shout with you in class. You take the lead in shouting. We shall not, no, not you at least. You'll be helping us, but you'll not be. We don't want our culprit to, yeah. Right. So anyway, yeah, so I like to take the lead, and sometimes I like to think it's a God-given, because we'll walk into a room, meet somewhere randomly, they're appointing a small committee to do this, and like, no, Olivia will be.
Exactly.
Yeah. So I feel like it's a natural, and I don't shy away from it anymore. Before I used to be like, no, I will not take this, but now I embrace.
I've been running almost all my life. I only started saying yes to leadership in 2019.
Just 3 years ago.
Because even when I was doing charity outreaches, we would go somewhere and people are asking for the leader. Why? We have brought things. Just accept that. Why are you asking for the leader?
Yeah, also, I started an organization with a group of friends. It's called the Sisterhood, Uganda. Yeah,
I've seen some of the outreaches.
Yes, yeah. So it's something we do out of love, giving back to society. Yeah, like I said earlier, I like it when I put a smile on someone's face. It doesn't matter how much I've given them, but if I've shared something, however small. So we opened up the Sisterhood with my friends. That is 2015.
7 years ago.
Yeah, 7 years ago. 7 years ago, and it's amazing how we have grown. Yeah. We don't do much at the moment. Before we were so active, we were young, there were not so many responsibilities. But now people have gotten married, others have left the country. You know what comes with growing up and parenthood.
You have to go back to the drawing board.
You have to go back to the drawing board. Do not bury the dream, but also create time for... Yeah, so basically, that is Olivia, a whole 30 minutes of introduction.
It's not 30. It's not 30.
Looks like it.
It isn't.
Yeah.
So we're looking at Olivia as someone who wanted to be a teacher and then ended up as a politician, you know?
Yeah. Actually, in school, I studied... It's a very weird combination of things that I studied. For my bachelor's, I did a Bachelor of Commerce.
Okay.
And I majored in finance. That is one thing that I did not like to do. Yeah. You
didn't like to study that?
No, I did not like it.
How did you choose it?
I wanted to do something like leisure and hospitality.
Yeah, still about the people.
Yeah, I wanted to do... career guidance is very important. That's a topic for another day. It's very, very important. Because your parents will look at you very good at mathematics and be like, you should be a banker, you should be an accountant, you should be... So circumstances under which I got I applied for university. That's a story for another day. But my parents filled out the forms for me, and they put courses they felt...
Without even asking you?
Yeah, without asking me.
What?
Yeah, because I was...
Oh my goodness.
I was in the hospital. I had just had a baby. Yeah, I had just had a baby.
But still, I would still see.
Yeah, so when they looked at my results from school, because I had done economics, mathematics, physics, and I'd passed. So I did Bachelor of Commerce at university, but I did not like it. I did not enjoy it.
Did you ever tell your parents?
I did not. I just did it to please them, because I was coming from like a hole of sorts. So I was trying to clear myself. I was trying to be the good child. That will be another story if you ever host me again. Yeah. So I had to prove a point to them that this time around I'm a very reformed girl. I will do.
You were atoning for your sins.
You know, it was a confession of sorts. So anything they wanted me to do, I just did. So immediately after my bachelor's, I enrolled for a postgraduate in human resource management, because that is what I looked around. I couldn't go into leisure and hospitality anymore because it was always my dream course. Yeah. Then after graduating, I went back and I did HR at Uganda Management Institute. So
and how's it going for you as the human resource person?
It's good.
What is it? What are the things that we don't understand about human resource?
I like to tell people that some things, actually not all professions you need to be passionate about it.
Oh, yeah.
Let alone the books, let alone going into class and getting a master's degree. I like to say that do a job that you like and you'll never have to work a day in your life.
People keep saying that.
Yeah. Just do a job that you like.
Like with the podcast. I can be
You see?
sick. But I'm sure I have to do the podcast.
You have that inner force that pushes you, and it's a part of you. So I think I like HR. I haven't practiced as much, because I
think you're doing it with La Roza.
Yeah. Yes, because it's a baby, and and I like it, dealing with the people, understanding, because we all come from different backgrounds.
So much.
You want to look at Olivia, who came from, say, a family of 5 people, and then you want to deal with Nabuguzi, who came from a family of 20 people, different cultures, but then how do we incorporate all these cultures? How do we deal with all these people without, first of all, not looking at their qualifications? They're very important. I'm not saying they're not important. Qualifications are good and necessary, but then I like to put personalities first.
It's helpful.
Yeah, I like to put personalities first. Yeah. Because once you understand this one is very, very short-tempered, how do I deal with it? Because you're not going to kill them for who they are. No. You just have to learn to live with them. Harmonious living should be the goal at the end of the day, whether in the workplace, at home, in a taxi. Oh God, I wish I could if people could only learn to live happily, harmoniously, without judging, without backstabbing, without lying. But well, I'm not God, and I will not assume his.
Man, that's where the complexity of life comes in.
It's so
ironic.
ironic.
Talked about motherhood being your first and daily job. At what point did you ever feel like I look forward to being a mother?
The day I gave birth to my firstborn. When I was pregnant, I did not feel it. You know, when a child is inside your stomach, of course you look forward to having them, you look forward to raising them, but then the reality hasn't sunk in, because that person is still inside you. You're still alone. I don't know if you get it. You are still alone. But the day this person comes on earth, you look at a little creature, vulnerable, entirely dependent on you. You have to find out if they're hungry, because they're not going to talk. You have to know if it's the right time for them to take a shower, to change a diaper, all that. So, by the way, I only have 2 children, but I think I get postpartum depression.
What do you mean? You think you get?
I think I get it. I don't want to confirm that I get it.
After
birth? Giving, after birth.
Okay.
Because after giving birth, yourself as a mother, you are vulnerable. You are not well, depending on the either C-section or normal birth. Each of them comes with its own baggages. But then you need extra care. But on the other hand, you also have this little thing, sorry to call it a thing, and
they just need you all the time.
Exactly. So I think I'm a lucky person that I have a whole lot of people around me, that every time I have a child, there's a support system. I have my mother around, I have my sister.
So you have a chance for them to take care of
I do not want to imagine how it would be without them. See, it takes a toll on me when I have this whole lot of people around. So I wonder how it would have been. I do not want to jinx it or even think about it. So motherhood, the day I got my firstborn, it was a very happy day and a very sad day on the other hand.
What made you sad?
I had so many complications giving birth. So many that resulted into like a lifetime brain damage to my son that caused the condition that he has today. But I went into labor as any other woman, and in the labor ward things were not good. They were not good. So finally he came out. but I did not get to see him. He had to be rushed to the ICU immediately. Yeah. So I was very tired from the labor ward. So I first did not look forward to the baby, to seeing the baby. So it was after about 4 or 5 hours that I went to see him.
Did you feel? Oh, that it was after 4 or 5 hours.
Yeah.
That you wanted.
That I went.
You went.
Yeah.
Oh, I was going to be like, whoa! You gave birth and you weren't feeling insecure that you hadn't seen the child.
The first hour, really, I did not feel insecure because the process had been long and painful and ugly. Sorry to call it that. Yeah. So I just wanted to get that child out of my.
You were tired.
I was tired.
Please leave me alone.
Yeah, actually, that's what I said.
Oh, yeah?
Leave me alone. Leave me alone. And
yeah.
But I thank God my mother was there. My sisters were there. So they were in charge, and I was I felt secure with them around. So after 4 hours, I was called to go check on my child, but the image is still so fresh. 11 years later, the image is still so fresh. I found him in the incubator. For lack of a better word, he was connected to wires everywhere, like his little feet, his little hands, his little nose, his head.
What happened in your mind when you saw that?
Huh? It was like an electric connection of sorts. Someone could turn off the switch, probably that would be the end of him. But I thank God for the nurses and doctors at that hospital, because they really did everything within their means. Yeah. So I looked at him and I'm like, oh, so is it like this? Remember, it was my first child. Yeah. And I was a little girl at the time. Not so little, because you cannot have a child when you're so little, but I was only 19.
Yeah.
So I looked, but then when I looked around the room, it was the neonatal ICU. I realized mine is not as bad.
Oh.
Yeah, there were other babies that were so little, preterms, 6 months, 7 months. So I thanked God. And we stayed there. He stayed in the ICU for some days, for 10 days. Yeah.
You've talked about the permanent result of what went on in the hospital that your son carries to date. I got to see a post that you reshared. Yeah. I don't remember which year it could have been.
And you 2019, 2020.
You were talking to him. And what you were talking with, when you were talking with him at that point, you were asking him about the things a particular child or particular kids say to him in school. And I think I first read the caption about cerebral palsy, and your question was, I think what struck me, I might not remember the whole post, but what struck me, I remember cerebral palsy. First of all, cerebral palsy itself, it wasn't a common thing.
Yeah.
I only knew it seeing videos that might pop up.
Somewhere
and these are white people, meanwhile, or people in America. So I'm like, wait.
We have it in Uganda?
You know? There's things are existent, but we barely talk about them. So I was like, oh, okay.
Someone I know.
Exactly. And then there is a question of, have we taught our normal children to live in the same society, to share space with the children that have incapacitated growth or something like that? So, can you help us understand the bits of cerebral palsy?
Cerebral palsy is a condition that normally or always comes at birth.
Always comes at birth.
Most of the time. Most of the time. If, for example, for my son, I will not go into detail because I'm not a medical doctor, but I will talk for what I know.
What you experienced.
What I experienced. Yeah. So every time a child comes out of the mother's womb, they have to cry, they have to make that sound. So in a layman's language, they say oxygen, when they make that loud cry, oxygen goes straight to the brain.
Oh.
Yeah, so the brain is now open to the world, like, oh, now things have changed, we're not inside anymore, but we're in a different whole world. So what happened with my son, he had it's called a cord, the umbilical cord. It was tied around him, yeah, while still in the stomach. But
they didn't see that?
No.
Oh no.
That's the ugly bit, because I actually went for an ultrasound scan before, like an hour before.
And they did not see
apparently,
it?
they did not say it.
No way.
Yeah. So...
No, that is
I like to tell people that it was the negligence of the hospital, but on the other hand, they worked so hard. They did everything within their means.
Well, they shouldn't have worked that hard if they had seen it before.
Yeah, so people were saying, why don't you sue them? Why don't you do this?
That's what I was going to ask you.
Yeah, but my mother told me no, it could have been worse. Let's thank God the boy is here and prepare for whatever comes. Yeah. And I thank God we didn't go into that legal battle with the hospital, because it's a very big hospital, yeah, one of the biggest in Kampala, in Uganda. So anyway, what happened, the baby had a cord around him, so I kept on pushing the baby. Our baby wasn't coming. I got tired and he also got tired. The first nurse midwife came, the second one came, until a third, actually a doctor came and told them, what can't you see? The baby is suffocating. So they had to do their magic, cut the cord, and they just had to pull out the baby, because the process had taken about 2 hours. Yeah, so he was fatigued.
2 hours of you trying to push the child.
Yeah. If I remember very well, it was from 2 p.m. to 4 p.m. 20th May 2020.
Whoa,
yeah.
2 hours.
Yeah, and I was in one room, but then you would hear 20 minutes into the process, in the next room, a baby is crying, a baby is crying, a baby is crying. So
that can really eat up your mind,
you know,
because like, why am I not getting done with this?
So it wasn't good, that it scared me a lot. I thought I'd never have any other children. No, you see the gap. One is 12, the other is 3. But after some time, I was like, so anyway, what happened, that the baby did not cry. I remember hearing the doctor say, there's excessive fetal distress, we must act right away. That I remember very well. Yeah, like excessive fetal distress, we must act right away.
Like, you just keep saying like...
So, but since I was also tired, and my mom, who had been in the room, was watching everything, actually for her, she first thought the baby had died. So she just moved out of the room crying and telling people, I don't think we have a baby, I don't think we have a baby. But
especially now that he hadn't cried.
He hadn't cried, and he had turned purple. He was, yeah, he was purple, the color.
Lack of oxygen.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, he had turned purple, so they rushed him to the ICU. So while there, I think he responded after 4 days. Yeah, he responded after 4 days.
For him to start breathing on his own.
For him to cry and produce.
Yo!
Yeah.
Whoa.
After 1, 2, 3, 4 days, he opened his eyes, he moved his little fingers.
So he was just there, nothing was moving.
Nothing was moving, we were feeding him through tubes.
Whoa.
Yeah, he was all connected.
That is very depressing for the first mother. Yeah, or not even the first mother.
For a mother. So, but God is really great. I must say the doctors did their part, but I attribute everything to, yeah. So he lacked oxygen at birth, and apparently if the brain does not get oxygen immediately, a part of it, a part of it gets damaged, and with the brain damage, it's irreversible. Yeah, you can only help somehow, somewhere, but that damage, depending on the size or the propensity of the damage, it's always irreversible. Yeah, but the number of days he spent in the ICU, the doctors reviewed him, and they really prepared us, and they told us, this that has happened, you may have to expect this, expect that, and this. But we're here for you. Bring him back as much as you want. will help.
And were there counseling services?
Yeah, they were. They told us his growth rate may not be the same as children of his age, but do this and that and that, and we're also here. They really were helpful.
Yeah.
So like I said at the beginning, I always like to focus on the positive.
That's right.
This had already happened. Going into a legal battle with them, would it change anything, or it would stress me further?
It actually doesn't.
Yeah.
It doesn't reverse it either.
You know, it doesn't reverse it either. So they sat me down with the father of the child and my parents, and they counseled us, expect this, expect that, but then... So we left the hospital, I think about after 14 days.
Wow.
Yeah, after 14 days we left the hospital and went home. And the baby was okay. He was breastfeeding very well, he had recovered as a baby. He had recovered and so we went home. But like the doctors had told us, his growth rates, the milestones were very slow. I think he sat... Normally, children sit at 4 or 5 months, but at 5 months, really, he could not sit. That is when it started to
sink in
that something could actually be worse than what I thought. 5 months he could not sit, 8, 7, 9 months.
And I'm imagining you have people around you asking, how come?
How come he's not sitting?
Force him. Yeah.
You know, that's the thing. Force him, put him in a basin, tie clothes around him, do this. Then he would drip like saliva, like his head was always weak. So he made a year. I think he started sitting pretty well at around 11 months. Can you imagine? Like everything was behind schedule. So at 1 year, we went back to hospital, and they advised that we do all those scans. We do a brain scan. We do the different tests. But being a young
so what
girl,
did they want to find at that time?
They wanted to diagnose. They wanted to know what the problem was, because apparently, this that he got at birth, this distress that he got at birth normally comes with so many adverse effects. It comes with so many side effects, but they cannot just tell that it's this.
Okay.
Yeah, they have.
Or they can't really tell the effects there and then.
There and then it has to. It's a gradual process. Yeah, and it normally comes after diagnosis. But when they told me to do that scan, in my head, I was like, no, I am not ready to listen to. Yeah, I told the doctor, let me go and do the scans, I'll come back. I did not come back.
Yeah.
So, you know, sometimes being young is just stupid. You're all sorts of...
You have things that you're scared of.
That's the thing, yeah.
It's too much information.
It's too much information for you. I was in school, I was in first year at university. Here I am, have papers to do, have a life to live, honestly. And then there's this little baby that I like so much. So 1 year into his life, the boy is not walking, he's not standing, he just sits down there and looks at you. But then I knew something was not right.
Right.
So 1.5 years, 2 years, the boy is not walking. So that's when my parents were like, you know what, you have to concentrate on school, just bring the boy and we stay with him. So I took the boy home to my mother, and they really looked after him very well. But remember, we had not done
you hadn't gone back for the results.
I hadn't gone back, much as I lied that I had. Yeah, I told my mother that I had, and everything was okay.
Oh, that's what you said.
Yeah, that's what I said.
Oh God, Olive.
That's what I said. That he was okay, but she didn't.
You wanted to believe that it's okay.
she didn't seem convinced, because people would tell me he will be fine, he's just a brown child. There's that mentality, and I don't know where we get it as Africans or Ugandans, that brown children take long to you've not heard of that before?
No.
Oh, like in Luganda they say chana cheru.
Ridiculous. Oh my goodness.
Chana cheru chija kuguma.
Oh my god.
Light-skinned children are always lazier.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, I learned that from me. Yeah, so
there's so many things happening in this place.
So much. So anyway, I took him to stay with my parents, and they really looked after him. Oof. You people, we should have so much respect for our parents.
Yeah.
And we should have a lot of respect for our grandchildren, because they know so much.
Grandparents?
Sorry, our grandparents. Like those old people, they know so much, and there's a lot that we have in our society that people are not utilizing. Because the entire time my son was with my parents, he did not do so many hospital visits, but they helped him with physiotherapy at home.
Oh.
Yeah.
Without hospital consultation?
They would go once in a while, not like the visits we had when I used to live with him. Because every 2 weeks
you were visiting hospitals.
Yeah, I think I visited every pediatrician in this country. Everyone that they talked about, I would go, and they were really helpful. I'm really thankful for. He's called Dr. Biarugaba, Bugolobi Children's Medical Center. He was really helpful. But when I took him to my parents, they embarked on physiotherapy, because for 2 years my son did not wear shoes.
Yeah.
For 2 years. My father would wake up in the morning, every morning at 6 a.m., take him out in the grass and make him walk, like holding him. They would make him walk barefooted.
Was your father someone who would raise up early?
Yeah.
On a normal day?
No, he had to do that for his.
So he decided.
Yeah, he decided. He's self-employed, so he puts most of the things on the side. He would leave home at 9 in the morning, but he would make sure before he leaves.
Wow.
Yeah. So he would take him out in the grass, that morning grass. It does magic.
Oh.
I'm just not told. I know now. Before I did not know. But I know. For those children that do not walk well, what I must thank God for, all this time that 1 year, 2 years, we had not diagnosed that it was cerebral palsy. Yeah, we didn't have the right diagnosis. But then we knew something wasn't right. But then the boy wasn't walking and all that. So all this we were doing just to help the boy walk and get moving, because his growth rate, like he was behind schedule. I'm talking about now 2.5 years, coming to 3, but he wasn't walking. Whoa. Yeah. So my father would take him out, then they would massage his feet, then they would give him cow foot molokone. You know molokone?
Yeah, I know molokone.
Yeah, the soup. Every day he would.
At some point I didn't believe that. I was like, oh,
yeah.
Does this thing really do anything?
I tell you, before I did not know
At
or
some point
believe.
I was like, I think it's just...
You've heard about it before?
Yeah, I eat it, but I've had people talking about it.
I don't know what vitamin or mineral is.
Oh, it has a vitamin? We could check. We could check much later.
Yeah, we'll check much later. But yeah, they gave him cow foods. They gave him fruits. Like he was treated naturally. Yeah, at home. They would do the usual hospital visits, like once in a while, because of he's asthmatic.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So because of that, these other sicknesses. But for his speech wasn't good. Yeah, his speech wasn't good. But then at first wanted to concentrate on the legs. And I really thank God, because all children, not all, most children that are diagnosed with cerebral palsy, it's too bad.
I've seen them
having trouble and I thank God every day, by the way. I thank God the whole time. I really thank God. I wish I could just find him and,
Like
and hug him. Because, yeah, most children, it's too bad. They cannot do anything for themselves. They're too incapacitated. They cannot sit, they cannot feed, they cannot talk, they can't do anything. But at least, I think, at 4 years, 3 years coming to 4 years, my boy started walking. It wasn't walking like so well. Yeah, it was.
But there was already movement.
Yeah, there was movement
within a year.
Yeah, there was movement. Even coming to 2 years, he started walking with support.
Yeah.
Yeah, he started walking with support. But at 4 years, he started moving. But between 2.5 years and 4, when he started walking, oh my God, the boy fell down. They could walk. Actually, he's now 11, but his hair at the back of his head can't grow even now, because he fell so much that he would throw his head down. At some point, my mom was like, let's buy him a helmet so he can put it on at home. Yeah. So, but finally he started walking. He wasn't as strong, but then there was movement, and that alone was...
It's a milestone.
It was a big one. We actually even went to church.
Oh, wow.
Yes. We did.
Yeah.
Because... So all that time he was living with my parents. So when he made 5, we decided to actually go to hospital and find out what.
Wow.
Because he was going to start school. We put him into school at 4 years, but he couldn't grasp anything. Like, he couldn't.
Nothing at all.
Nothing at all. You'd tell him this is A, letter A, and in the next minute he doesn't know what it is.
Ooh.
You tell him this is number 1, then... So
then when you say the letter, would he re-say it?
Yeah, he would. He would.
But then when you ask again...
Not at all.
Whoa.
Yeah, even he's writing his name. Like, he would say his name, my name is so-and-so. I think his damage, or the problem that he got, affected his reading. Yeah, it affected his reading capacity, because orally he's very good.
Oh yeah?
Orally he's amazing. But reading and writing, given that his right side was very weak, even writing, you can write a sentence when he's still on the first or second word, even at the moment. Yeah, I think that is a lifetime, challenge. So, at 4 years, we started going to different hospitals, meeting different people, therapists. Because, I mean, when you learn that your child has a problem but do not know what it actually is, as a mother or as a parent, you're forced to read and recite. So I would put all that he has. So there are a whole lot of conditions. There's this and this and this. So there's a condition called dyslexia. I don't know if you heard about it.
I've heard about it.
It's
That's for the reading
thing.
thing.
It's a reading thing. So at first I thought he had dyslexia because all his problems, but then dyslexia does not affect someone physically. It's an intellectual disability. Yeah, that's what we thought. So we went and met dyslexia therapists here in Uganda, and they tried to assess him. But then they later found out it wasn't. We met other people because we thought of so many other conditions, until finally we went to Kosu in Entebbe.
Oh.
Yeah, we went to Kosu in Entebbe, and they reviewed him for days. I would take him there, I think, every Tuesday. And finally they told us he has cerebral palsy. Yeah, that was at 5 years. At 5 years, cerebral palsy. And they told us what to expect, what not to ask of him.
Oh.
Yeah. And like I said earlier.
Can you give us an example of the things that you were told, things that you do not have to ask of him?
You don't have to expect the best performance out of him in class. Yeah. Because they all come in different they all come in different ways. All get affected in different ways. You'll find one who is very, very good in class, but they cannot talk. Oh, yeah. Their hearing is okay, but the speech is not okay, and they understand each and everything. So every child is different, is affected differently. Yeah, but one thing the doctors told us, like I told you, like just thank God, because I also did not know much about cerebral palsy then. I got to see other children. I was like, oh God. Yeah. Oh God. So they just told me to take it slow. Let him do what he can. What he cannot do, do not force him, especially in class. Then also, like our day-to-day, he has mood swings. Yeah, he has very, very bad mood swings.
Is it because of that? Is it because of cerebral palsy?
I think it comes with the damage, with the brain damage. Yeah. So we do not push him a lot. We were told to take everything slow, take every day at a time. Yes. Do not force him to do things. Support him where you can. Then his speech is not as good. Yeah. Okay. The words come out, but they're not well pronounced. We tried to do speech therapy, but then
do we have those in your country?
Yeah, they're very expensive. Oof, very, very, very expensive. They could ask for $100 an hour. Yeah, but I met an amazing lady. I think she was a teacher at Galaxy in Loboa, and she was a white lady. She told me, Olivia, do not waste your money. Yeah, don't. Nothing is going to change. Don't waste your money. Just.
So the therapist didn't even tell you that?
They didn't. But this lady was a speech therapist who someone recommended, and we met once. She really fell in love with him, and it's like, I like the money. This is what I started to do, but nothing. We're not going to do more than this. Yeah. So we were prepared. Yeah, we were prepared and accepted.
Yeah.
That's how he is, and that's how he will always be. And we've really tried to be supportive. I have tried to be supportive. When he tells me, Mommy, I want to do this, the only problem is today he wants this so much. He gets attached to things so much.
Yeah.
Then tomorrow.
He's not all about the business.
Yeah.
He has moved on already.
But the doctor has told me that's part of it. One day, one time.
So you also have to be flexible.
Exactly.
Wow.
Extremely. You have to be flexible. You don't have to be so rigid and not telling this and not telling that.
And also extremely attentive,
you
because
have to be
things keep changing in his world.
Things keep changing in his world. But he's into a mainstream school. He's not in a special needs school. I took him to a mainstream school.
How is he managing?
First of all, I talked to the school administration, from the teachers to the gate man to the cooks.
Every department. Myself, I did not send anyone there, because one of the things, he's been bullied a lot. He has been into so many schools, so many schools. Wow, at 11.
Yeah, at 11. I think he has gone to about 5 schools now.
Whoa.
Yeah. But then before, as a parent, I was still in denial and expecting him to be treated just like other children. But then it's only natural. It's only natural. I just, like, most of the time I tell parents, if only you could talk to your children, that out there are other children that are like this. You never know. I mean, you're a mother, you still give birth. Tomorrow you might give birth to such a child. It's not like I wish you to. Right. Yeah.
It's not like in someone's DNA or
exactly.
genes.
Yeah. And there's no monopoly to having normal children.
There is no monopoly.
Yeah, there's no monopoly to that. That's what we pray for, and that's what we wish for, and that's what we advocate for. If we could have, like, very good health care, if midwives and doctors could be attentive and pay, like, the necessary, at least if it's to happen, let it be a one-off. Let it not be a case of negligency.
Yeah.
If it's to happen, let it not be out of someone's negligency or what. So, and there's so many things that happen, especially without healthcare. some of these cases happen because of lack of necessities.
Yeah.
A woman will get pregnant and not do an ultrasound throughout. Yet in the present day and era, we thank God for technology. You can easily know when a child is still in your stomach, whether they have a problem, whether they're okay, can it be prevented. There's so many things that can be done here. So we have really tried to support him. I have really, because he knows, even if you spoke to him, he would tell you, my mother says I'm the best at what I do.
Yeah, my mother says.
Yeah, my mother says I'm the best at what I do, and everyone knows.
So for you, what you think? Deal with
your
yourself.
opinion does not matter. Yeah, and he tells you very well. My mother says I am the best, and I really thank God for his current school. Yeah, I really thank God, because in class he does not really perform well. Yeah, because of his different challenges. Orally, he's okay, like I told you.
Yeah.
When they read and tell him this and that, he will grasp it. But when it's time to put it on paper, he's not good with spellings.
So does it affect memory as well?
I think so. Actually, yeah, it does. Because if you cannot spell a word that you have seen, then there is like some issues with your memory. But all the time, like grading wise, when they are grading, you find that he has 8, 7, 9. But I spoke to his teachers, the school administration, and they now understand him. So they always tell him, Hashim, you're among the best in class. You get it? Yeah.
Oh wow.
Yeah. So he tells me, Mommy, I got 4, but when you look at his results, actually he has 9s, and yeah. But that is not the case. That is not the case, and I'm really so proud of him. Yeah. So
has the school gone as far as talking to his classmates?
Yeah, they do. They still bully him. He still gets bullied.
Even when they talk.
Yeah, even when they talk to them. So they tell him, you walk like a frog. You speak. Your words come out so funny. But I'm really grateful that he has learned to fight for himself. Like, he laughs at them as like, you're the funny one. Are you listening to yourself? Yeah. Are you listening to what you're saying? Yeah, so
you also, when I remember, I keep, it's such a beautiful video that you shared with us, because I saw the power or the need of parents affirming their children. Is it something that you feel like we lack in our society?
So much.
The parent and child relationship.
Parent and child relationship is very important. I just wish it is something, I just wish they could introduce it somewhere in schools or somewhere during antenatals when a woman is going to give birth, and they have to emphasize with them, make your child your friend, make your children your friend. You get, it is something that is lacking. There's so many mistakes as we did, like in our generation, like I told you earlier, that if we had been closer to our parents, would not have done. Yeah, even these children that bully our children, our special children, if their parents could bring them closer and introduce these topics, because first of all, I find it very okay for children to know that this one is different from us. That is absolutely.
By the way, we don't have those. One, we don't have those conversations.
Yeah.
2, sometimes we have this imagination that is a case far away from my experience.
Yeah, and also, there are so many parents out there that are not proud of their children that are like that. So many, especially in the rural setup. I don't know much about the urban area, but I've come to appreciate that now people are coming out. There's so many support groups, there's so many spaces.
In the urban center?
Yeah, in the urban centers. But in the rural areas, like I told you, I spent a whole lot of time in the villages campaigning. I got to see people hiding their children.
Hiding?
Yeah. Because they looked at those children as curses.
Whoa.
Yeah. They're like, especially the men, when a woman gives birth to such a child, they'll say, in my family, we do not have such a child. That is like an omen.
Does that make sense? In my family, what are you talking about?
Yeah. It is very, very common. It is very common. Men run away from women.
I've heard that case.
So many. I've seen not one, not two, not three, but a whole lot of men running away from their wives because they gave birth to a child. There's so many other conditions. It's not only cerebral palsy. The other conditions that actually come when the child is still in the stomach. Yeah, there's hydrocephalus, a child born with a big head.
Right.
There's autism. There's so many other, yeah. So, but the moment a child is born with a condition that is different from the normal children, in the rural setup, you'll find that only 2 out of 5 men will stay. Others, that is a curse in my family. We do not give birth to such children. As if you are God.
I don't like that word. It makes me tired.
Yeah, children.
Children.
Those children are hidden, and in some places, you find that they construct like a cage. Yeah, a cage for them. Then keep throwing food inside like a dog, like an animal. Yeah.
But I've remembered.
Yeah.
I went to Bakateyamba some time
Patalemo?
back. Bakateyamba.
Here in Nalukolongo.
Yes.
Yeah.
And we found a lady. She had become an adult, but the nun said that she had been
locked
born.
up.
She had a deformity, so I think she said they placed her in a drum, you know.
Yeah.
They would place her in a drum, and then that's where they would pour food.
Yeah, I've seen that. Not
so
once,
even
not
when
twice.
they give her food on the plate, because she is not really present the way how would be ready to experience things. When they give her food, she has to throw it around, like, because she knows. Whoa.
Yeah. So I've seen a boy back home in Rengo who was locked up in a cage, like at the back of the house.
And that's where he spends the night?
Day and night. He's in there. He does everything in there. He excuses himself there.
No.
They throw food in there.
Whoa.
Yeah. But I just wish all parents, or even parents with children like that, and even those that do not have them, would know that this one thing that God did not give your child, this one sense or this one system or memory that God did not give your child, he compensated with something else, much more than this. Because I tend to look at these people, they are very bright, by the way.
They are smart.
They are smart.
I've seen that.
So I got to appreciate that.
Yeah.
One thing that's missing was compensated, I think, twice or thrice of what they don't have. You just need to discover it. It may not take a year or two. It can even take 10 years. And especially down here in Africa or Uganda, I don't know about other countries in Uganda, I wish we had that system that could help us discover what our children will do or are really good at from the start, instead of having to take them through school, do 20 or 15 subjects, but at the end of the day, see, because I focus a lot on my child. I know this time he wants this, but I know after senior 1 or senior 2, we may not continue with because he's an arts person. He loves photography. So I'm getting a camera for him very soon, and I already enrolled him into a school, so he's going to start, because I don't want to break him with a million things. Go do mathematics, go do history, go do geography, go do chemistry. You get?
Yeah.
So at the end of the day, he'll get demotivated and hate each and everything. But how many parents have the privilege that I have? They are not many, and even those that do not know what to do, you get, they haven't some of them haven't really interested themselves in because some people tell me, Olivia, you have kajanja, this, and I'm like, it doesn't matter. I'm doing this for my child. I'm doing this for him. So if only we could know that these children are special, like like the word special is, and discover what is that special element
that they come with.
Because I got to know that the compensation that God gave them for what he did not give them is 1,000,000 times more than that. But we need to discover it.
Yeah.
I wish I could do something, but I cannot.
Right.
I cannot. No, I mean, you cannot go to every parent. You can only do the talking like I'm doing right now. If someone
like the
listens,
post that you shared, it's a powerful post.
Exactly.
I don't know if you know how powerful it is.
Because after that, I got so many people contacting me. So many. Olivia, I saw this. Olivia, I read this. How do you handle? You share. Those are the support systems that I talked about. There's so many mothers out there. Sometimes you just need to learn from a person. And all these people are not professionals. I'm not a professional myself with children with special needs, much as I may have one. And I thank God my son's condition is minor compared to others. But parents really need to be helped. Yeah, and I would really encourage others not to hide their children.
It's crazy.
Yeah, not to hide. I tell people it could have been worse. It could have been worse.
What they're doing is that the child brings them shame.
But why? But why? You did not call for it. It's not like a project that went wrong at the end of the day.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah. So basically.
So you made a decision not to enroll him in mainstream schools as opposed
in
to
special needs schools.
Rather, yes.
Yeah.
Do you oh my God, sorry.
It's okay.
I'll edit it out. Don't you feel like a special needs school would serve him better than a special than a mainstream school?
Because his condition is not as bad. You get. I wanted him to be challenged.
Oh.
Yeah. I wanted him to be somewhere with other children that will challenge him. Our schools, our special needs schools, you find our little babies are more incapacitated than him.
Because they are
they are down, they cannot walk, they cannot talk. So I did not want him to be the one to others to learn from. I wanted him to learn from others. I wanted him to get involved in sports with others. I wanted him to get involved in debates with others. And once I spoke to his teachers and they agreed and they accepted, I was good. I just wanted him to have that challenge because, like I said, I thank God his condition is not as bad. It's there, he has it, but then he can walk, he can talk. The words may not come out very well, but you can understand what he's saying. He can feed himself.
Right. Oh yeah.
Yeah, he can feed. Yeah, he doesn't litter his clothes anymore. His saliva is now okay. It doesn't come out anymore. Yeah. So, and I think it has come. It has come with the grooming, with the, I like to call it military training. Yeah, because had I left him home, maybe he wouldn't have been as shrewd or as strong as he is, because at home you'll find that you do everything for him. And better, he's in boarding school.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, he's in boarding. It's weekly boarding.
Oh, how is that?
That you pick him up on Friday, but then, actually, I think ever since this term started, he doesn't want to come back home.
Wow.
Yeah, because on the weekend is when they play football.
He can live independently.
He does. He lives independently.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Because now what I'm picking from you is that I don't know if I've understood it wrongly. Correct me if I've understood it wrong. What I'm picking from this is that special needs schools leave the child the way they are and do not allow them to advance.
It's not that they don't allow them, but sometimes it's not possible. You get. Whatever they do is what they can do. They cannot go beyond that. Yeah. You get it. If a child is in a wheelchair and they cannot walk, you're not going to force them to walk because they cannot. That's how they are. You get. So if I bring this boy who can, God has really helped, he can walk, but then he spends the day with other children who cannot walk, you'll find that he's also seated there the whole day.
Exactly, because it's a normal thing.
Because it is okay, that is how they are, and you don't blame them. Yeah, you just have to support them in their own way. If I get this boy who is trying so hard to talk and do this and that, and put him in a class of children who cannot talk, he's going to be like, he will not get challenged, he will not argue with someone else, because this is how this innocent child is, you get.
Yeah.
So special needs children, special needs schools help a child to a given extent. They cannot go beyond what a child cannot do. Yes. But this boy can ask to go to the toilet. He can use the toilet by himself. But you find that most of our babies, most of our children in our special needs schools, they are completely incapacitated and they have to use a diaper. And yes. So I chose to take him to a mainstream school so that he copies, because
He
children,
sees what the others
children learn by. Before, he used to dirten himself. He used to pee on himself, he used to poop on himself, like in the earlier years. But he has outgrown that over time. He has outgrown that.
I've seen some people that stay in that system to a point of adulthood.
Exactly, there are so many. But because their condition was too much, the damage was too much, so it affected them. It affects the brain, so their movement, their speech, like everything else. So many. Actually, cases of minor cases are very small. They're there. But they're there.
So the severe cases outweigh.
Yeah, because I remember the doctor told me, out of 10 children that are affected or get cerebral palsy, about six or seven are in a wheelchair. They're completely incapacitated. They can't do much. So basically, that is it.
I think now, looking at you and listening to you, I really feel like mental health and motherhood are things that
they walk hand in hand.
that we are not talking about, or guilt-tripping parents for feeling a particular way. What was it like in your mental space, in your mental world? What are the things that you may have experienced?
First of all, it was denial. Denial, which is very bad. I think in life, you can never get anything good out of denial, because you're just looking at the outside. You are not getting to the gist of the matter. You're not touching that point that should actually touch for things to work out.
Right.
So at first, when we were still in hospital, when I'd just given birth, and they told us, I was like, maybe these guys, they're not God. God could reverse things tomorrow, and you know. So fast forward, remember I told you I was supposed to go and do a brain scan. Then
you're like,
I'm like, no. Yeah, because people would tell me, he'll grow up. He's
just brown.
He's just brown. He's just a lazy and chubby. He's just brown and chubby. He will, yes.
People have ridiculous imaginations.
But then, when we actually embarked on the process, of finding out the right diagnosis, meeting different therapists, meeting different doctors, every night I would go back home, enter my bed and cry, and I'm like, but why my child? My friends have so many children, but they're okay.
None of them has this.
None of them has this. Their children are okay. Why? So it really bothered me. It really stressed me, and I felt like I was getting drained mentally. I was getting drained. I hated myself, and I said I would never have any other children because maybe God doesn't like me. You get, So mentally, it really disrupted me. I remember I used to work at a hotel in Mukono. It's called Rider Hotel. I used to do reservations for the hotel, and we were very busy. We used to host so many workshops, seminars, conferences, and my report, the report from my office, is what the whole, like the entire hotel would run their daily operations on. Because I would confirm, we have 100 guests today, 50 are going to be on full board, 50 are going to, so like I would share a report with a kitchen, with the banqueting, with the reception. So I would prepare a daily report for the hotel. But around that time is when we were trying to seek diagnosis for my child. When I found out that he had cerebral palsy, and I read further about it, and I didn't know he would be what he is right now, because I had a different image of him, not walking at all, not doing this. I remember one time I shared, we used to call that report, we used to call it a schedule. I shared a business schedule with the hotel that we had 165 guests coming in. So they prepared food for 165 people who were not coming in.
What happened?
They sent an email cancelling, and I read it very well.
But you weren't present.
I wasn't present. I wasn't there. I was there physically, but
Whoa.
I confirmed 100. Imagine food.
Whoa.
For 165 people. They prepare a conference hall for 100. I remember it was Ministry of Health. They had cancelled. They sent emails like, Olivia, we've cancelled, we'll communicate a new date. They sent back-to-back emails, and I can't confirm I read them.
Whoa.
But then so my boss called me and told me, Olivia, what's the problem? And
they gave you the space, they gave you the grace to talk about what's
because
happening.
I had been doing my work very well, but that time things were really not. So he called me. God bless that man. He sat me down. He was an old man. He was my father, really. I told him what was happening. I explained to him. He told me, take 2 weeks off, go home and
workspaces don't think about these things.
That's where I was coming to. Workspaces, you'll have deadlines to beat, you'll have reports to deliver, and your boss will not understand that as a person you are going through a lot. That's why when we're talking about my HR bit, I told you I like to look at the personality before the qualification.
Right.
How is the person? What is their mental status?
What is happening back home?
What is happening back home? Because you do not expect someone to come and ace that report when they have a sick wife back home. When they don't have school fees, when the children are at home not eating and starving. So we tend to focus more on delivering. We need that money, we need that target hit, we need this. But that person who is supposed to deliver that target, are they in the right state of mind? You get. So that really disrupted me, and I really thank God for that gentleman. We used to call him chairman. He actually became a friend. He's like a father. So I can always call him and say hello once in a while. So when I told him, he told me, just take 2 weeks off. You'll come back when everything is okay. So I went back home. I spoke to my mom. I spoke to different people. I remember I cried myself to sleep so many times. Every time I would read. Then I kept on asking myself.
So something kept pushing you to check.
Definitely, it is obvious. Even today,
you want to be sure. I know.
Yeah, you want to be sure. So when I got pregnant for my second born, oof, you have no idea. I went to the hospital. Even when I felt like a pinch, like a mosquito bite.
Right.
I went to the hospital. I just needed to be sure everything. I remember when I went to give birth, I told the doctor. I told him, doctor, I really want to have a C-section. I am not ready to go back into it. It's like, no, Olivia.
So you did not trust natural birth at all?
I did not trust natural birth at all.
Things to quicken?
Yeah, but bless my doctor, he told me, no, you have no problem. Everything is okay.
But now, you know, it's a little bit hard to believe because they had already told you everything was okay.
That's what they told me earlier. But this guy really assured me, and I told him, doctor, if anything happens to my child, you're in for it. He's like, trust me. And everything went on. I had my natural birth and went back home.
Yeah.
So anyway, talking about mental health, I cried myself to sleep. It wasn't good. But then I took time off and started reading, talking to other people. And I kept on saying to myself, thank God, it could have been worse. It could have been, actually that phrase alone, it could have been worse.
It helped you.
It helped me because I looked at other children and I said, maybe I'm not grateful enough.
Wow.
Maybe I'm not thanking God enough. Why should I cry and all be here sad and thanking a lot when my child can actually walk? When he can say, Mommy, I want this.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Because these other people are in wheelchairs. You have to know when it's time to change the diaper. You have to know when they want to eat. They will not say a word. So it's like how do I call, like a cloth that had covered me. Then all of a sudden, it disappeared, and I said, "No, this boy is fine. This boy is okay. This boy is okay." That is why before I actually did not want to talk about it, because I felt like, what will people say? People will see a boy walking.
What
then you have to, what will mothers whose children are in wheelchairs say?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, because the time I shared my story on NTV, I remember someone commented, oh wow. These are the things that discourage you. But then you look at this other person picking the positive bit of it. You're like, let me share my story. You never know. Because a person will, a mother will give birth to a child and go through what I went through, but then will not know how to support their child. As a little girl, I used to be very stubborn. I used to be bright in class. And I used to laugh at people who used to come last.
Why would you do that?
And you know, back in, but I don't know if schools still do that. But because at my children's
reading grades,
they don't do it anymore. They only read the best. And where my son goes, I requested them to always be reading him among
the best.
Yes.
Oh.
Among the best. So they do. But back in the day, they would read the best three. Was it best three and best five? Then they would,
three, I think.
Yeah, and then they would also read the last.
Or maybe four, I don't know.
Yeah, like the last 3 or 5. So I would always laugh, and I'm like, you, what you be doing when we're studying? But until it happened to my own child. Yeah.
Whoa.
I know no child is stupid.
Until it. Oh my goodness.
No, actually, no child is dense. No child is stupid. Their capability is somewhere else. Tewali mwana musiru, precisely. I like to tell people that. Do not be so hard on your child that you've gotten an F9. Yes, I mean, this is a Queen's language. Maybe he's meant to read Mirango on radio. I will not.
We are too tied on education. You've pointed that out, and it still makes me cringe. Every time I remember the kids I studied with, it would be VD.
Yeah.
And because they have performed poorly, they're like, I wish my parent doesn't
come.
Me in my head, I'm like, what are you talking about? I've not seen my mother.
Hey.
And the only thing my mother would ask me is,
are you fine?
Yes, are you okay? What is happening in class? What are you finding hard? We talk to the teachers. Do you consult? These kids, the parents are going to crucify them. Like if they come with crosses, they would crucify them and plant them in schools. Whoa. We really care so much about things that shouldn't matter.
That shouldn't. Education is very important, yeah. It's very good. We advocate for it. But what kind of education? What is the outcome? What is what do we get at the end of the day after teaching your child 20 subjects? Right. So until my son started getting grades, like bad grades in class, but then on the outside he's the most confident child that you'll ever find, with his not so good words. He will tell you. Then you laugh at him like, what are you talking about? My mother says I'm the best. Yeah.
I like that.
And he fights for himself. Yeah, he fights for himself.
I believe that's something that you might have gotten from the mainstream schools and exposure.
Exactly. Because had I taken him in the other school, no one would challenge him. No one would have challenged him. Yeah. So I would not see that he needed to be empowered, because sometimes these children, our children in wheelchairs and all that, do not want that noise. So it has to be silence all through, like the different forms of therapy. So, but here it is a military school. You have to, you have to fit in, and I'm glad he did. So I stopped feeling bad. I'm okay mentally. I thank God, and my role and duty is to guide him, support him, encourage him, like grow his esteem, whichever way. Yeah. And I have a whole lot of support around me, which I don't take for granted.
Support is very important.
I do not take that for granted. So I'm only hoping and praying for him, and as we see what tomorrow holds.
What do you leave? What words do you leave for us? What is that thing that you feel like is important for us to not walk away from this episode without getting?
Embrace any child that God gives you. Embrace. Be thankful. Whether normal or special. Actually, I don't like to use that.
The word special.
Special and normal, because they're all normal, but they have different capabilities. Different. Yeah, they're just different. So just embrace that child. And then also, parents out there need to make their children their friends. Just that. That's the magic. I believe so well. I'm not an expert in parenting, but out of experience, parents out there should make their children their best of friends. With that, there's so many things, there's so many bad things that your children will not do, because they'll come and consult. Like for the girl, they'll come and tell you, Mommy, this and this is happening. And you've grown up, you've seen it all, so you'll be able to advise them accordingly. Yeah. So live in harmony, be happy.
Be happy.
Be happy. Life is short, man. Life is short.
Some people that have had your offer to my wedding budget.
Oh yeah.
They might want to know how they can get in touch with you when it comes to, they might want reservations as well with La Roza.
La Roza, first of all, is located in Masaka, Masaka City. We're at Senyange Hill. That's just about a kilometer out of Masaka town. It's between Nyendo and Masaka town. I'm sure everyone has heard of Nyendo.
Yeah, maybe not everyone. The Masaka people.
The mighty Nyendo town where grasshoppers come from.
Oh yeah.
Where grasshoppers come from. So we can be contacted on 0779 42 44 77.
Read it again.
0779 42 44 77. We look forward to hosting you.
Is that your personal number?
Yeah.
Okay. Because I imagined there could be someone else that might want to talk to you in relation to cerebral palsy as well.
That's my personal number. The reason I shared that here is because of that.
Oh yeah.
Someone could want to talk about
the things that you have talked about.
Yeah, the things that we have talked about. So that's my personal number. You can call me about La Roza, you can call me about CP, you can call me about motherhood. I'll share the little that I know.
The little that you know.
Yeah, because I believe you can never know so much. Yeah.
Thank you so much, Olive.
Oh, you're welcome. Thank you too. Thank you for the time.
My takeaway from this episode is that do not get comfortable. Do whatever it takes for you to get to your next best season in life. Olivia, I celebrate you and your son for how much you put at stake for us as a society to check ourselves. Thank you for tuning into another episode of Hashtag with Navguzi Chwanuka. If you loved what you heard, make sure you subscribe to Hashtag with Navguzi Chwanuka in your podcast platform of choice and share it with your friends. Let them know that the podcast is for them, the content is for them. Feel free to also share your insights about what connected with you on social media and be sure to tag us. We are at #Minabgozichwanuka on Facebook and Instagram, and on Twitter our handle is at HTNK Podcast. You can also reach us on our email htnkpodcast@gmail.com. I really look forward to hearing from you. I also hope to catch your attention next week. Ciao.